Hello, everybody. Welcome back to SpoiList. We are here to talk about part two. This is part two of our Tears of the Kingdom spoil chat. Spoil podcast, spoiler chat, whatever you want to call it.
A loose spoiler conversation.
Spoiler conversation. I like that. Today, I like to put it out at the very start what we will be spoiling, so nobody comes in here and gets anything ruined. We're going to have a big exploration chunk like we did in the last episode. And then we will be talking about Yunobo of Goron City. That is the title of the quest. A couple other quests that we will be talking about. Madison's Independence, camera work in the depths, a mystery in the depths. There will be another one in the depths that I don't want to say the name of the quest because that itself is a spoiler. So if you go that far, it's up for grabs. And then we'll be doing Hateno Village Research Lab, a deal with the statue and who goes there, and possibly more that I haven't listed. Those are just the ones that I saw and wanted to call out for possible spoilers.
Yeah, that sounds right. Essentially, what we're doing is kind of the northeast chunk of the map, but also everything that we took to get there. So think of it like, you know, for what we've stumbled upon, we're just two people playing a massive game, you know, so there's probably stuff that is in between this that we haven't had it. But we went from the northwest in Rito Village, and we had that conversation, which, by the way, was a great episode. And then we headed due east all the way to the northeast of the map, so everything kind of in between that we were able to access, maybe some shrines and stuff like that. Then we did, like, opening hours underground, which was pretty cool. And then a little bit of a, you know, shooting out from Lookout. What is it called? I just fucked it. We just had it.
Lookout
Landing to
I always forget
the east, all the way out to Hateno, because there's some stuff going on with Robbie and whatnot. So kind of following some main quest lines, still early hours for sure, and not really talking about anything outside of those things.
So kind of like the four big pillars. Tarry Town, we'll be talking about that. The depths. Robbie, anything to do with Robbie. Lookout Landing, and then of course Goron City. So those are kind of a couple big pillars of things that we will be spoiling. But with that, I want to show you what I got between the last episode. Okay, I finally bought a Pro controller.
Good for you. It makes a difference, doesn't it?
It does, dude. I was sitting there pressing those tiny little buttons. My hands were cramping.
I can't imagine.
It was terrible. I finally caved and bought this. I went to my local GameStop, Best Buy, and neither of them had one. They were all out of stock. And then I went to Walmart and they had one left that was in a box that was beat to shit, but I got it anyways. Nice. It was terrible.
Nice. But hey, you got it. That's what matters.
Fine. Yeah, it's really good. I kind of wish
it's a good controller.
Really
How much are they? $70?
$70, dude.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I really wanted the Zelda version because it looks really nice.
It does. Nice. I'm still using a launch day Switch Pro controller. It's almost fucking 7 years old, and it's holding up. It's got a little stick drift, if I'm being honest.
Okay, I don't know if there's any. I don't think they've made like any revisions since then. I think this is the exact same controller.
Yeah.
But I will say, I like this better than an Xbox controller. I think this is like my second favorite controller. Like DualSense, and then this one's just really nice. I really like it.
I think I'd go Xbox controller, Switch Pro controller, DualSense.
Oh wow, mine's the complete opposite.
Yeah, I don't like having my fucking thumbs tucked under my hands like an absolute imbecile all the time.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, so you told me before we recorded today to go to Tarry Town.
Yeah.
So my history with Tarry Town, I was working on building it when my Breath of the Wild save got deleted. So I never finished it. So I was very unsure of what was going on when I got there. I had never seen a completely built Tarry Town.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I like it.
For sure.
But I actually think this is where the Madison's Independence quest picks up. So Madison is Hudson and what's her name? Ronson's daughter.
Yeah.
Hudson and Ronson.
I think maybe I should let me just give you a really quick TLDR on Breath of the Wild's Tarry Town quests. So when you go to Hateno Village and they have, right when you walk in, if you swing up to the right where Link's house is, You walk past all of the modular buildings that were being created by the people that end up making your house. I forget their names, they escape me. It's like an eccentric guy wearing pink, and then his like buddy who actually is, I think, rolling around in Lookout whatever right now. Lookout Landing. And then Hudson is with them, and Hudson goes off to do his own thing and try to make a name for himself, and he wants to start a moving construction company. You end up bumping into Hudson again at Tarry Town, which at that point is just a big open plot of fucking land. And the Tarry Town quests consists of you helping Hudson with his dream of opening this company and populating the city as he does it, but he needs help to do so. So what it is it's a string of quests. There's probably 5 or 6 of them that require you to, they're basically gated by, hey, I need this many bundles of wood. So you're farming wood for him so that he can build more stuff. But then every time you give him a certain amount of wood, so you give him, like, for the first quest, 30 pieces of wood, and then he's like, okay, I need somebody who's really good with their hands and is very strong, but the rule is to work at Hudson's whatever, their name has to end with Sun. So you need to go and find Goron, whose last name is Sun, and then you got to find a Gerudo that's last name is Sun. You need to find a Zora whose last name is Sun, and they all do different particular things. And by the end of it, you've established Tarry Town, and it's kind of like your Endgame village where they'll have like all sorts of different vendors and stuff like that. It's where you can replace your Hylian shield. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do in Tarry Town that sort of sets you up for busting through like all the shrines or finding all the Korok seeds. Like if you've exhausted a lot of other good loot, you're able to kind of replace it or find it there quickly by just spending straight up cash. So
gotcha.
Basically, it's one of the, I think people, when you look back on Breath of the Wild, outside of like the main story quests and like the mechanics of the game, Tarry Town and buying your house and building your house is among the more popular things because it's super memorable, it's super unique, and it's such a sprawling side quest that it really does feel like it's like delivering in like this open world kind of simi type adventure. So that's why it was important. Like, it's one of the things that when I played this game, I was like, I gotta see what's happening in Tarry Town. That's why I wanted you to go there so we could have this conversation earlier, because if we waited until the 3rd or 4th episode to do it, I think a lot of people have already done this as well, because it's as important to them as it is to me. So when you get to Tarry Town, how did you find it? Did you not care too much about this, Madison?
Well, I mean, I did the entire quest. I did the Madison's Independence quest earlier today. I had already gone through, and I think couple days ago I went through and hit all the towers just so I have like the entire map unlocked.
Nice.
I just like to be able to see the entire map at any time, so I just kind of went to the tower that's close to there and flew in. But I was like, where is Tarry Town? Because I couldn't remember. I was like, where? Because I think I just started that quest when things went bad with my Breath of the Wild save,
of course.
So I went to Tarry Town. And I did the Madison's Independence quest and the racetrack quest.
I think I did was the racetrack quest is just I did the first one where I just do a little loop, right? Where I put the steering column on it.
First part. I've done the first part and the second part, but I think it's going to be more and more as you go.
That's my guess too. Is that looks like a fucking absolute playground of like an area to kind of explore and mess with. How cool is the lift that they made as well?
I hate it. It's so slow.
It's so slow, but it's really cool that they have like that ability to go there with like, and it's kind of made using the same mechanics that you would make stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It does have that kind of flavor to it. The thing that I left out of Tarry Town and why Madison is so important, I think, is because at the end, like the 2nd or 3rd person that you pick up is Ronson. And then at the end of the quest, Hudson says, I need you to go get my homies from outside of your house. I'm getting fucking married. And you're like, to who? And he's like, Ronson. And they're like the fucking odd couple. It's so ridiculous that Hudson and Ronson would get married. And Madsen doesn't exist in Breath of the Wild, you know?
Okay.
So getting there and realizing that they have a kid, and the kid basically looks like Ronson but has the fucking head of Hudson.
Is
so fucking funny. And she's adorable, first of all. I've only known Madsen for 3 days, but if anything happened to her...
Dude, what a good quest, though.
Good.
So the quest pretty much was about Hudson not wanting to like let go of his daughter because she's moving to Gerudo Village, to be like, because she is Gerudo to half Gerudo, I guess.
Yeah.
So she's gonna go and like,
and more importantly, she's a female Gerudo.
She's a female Gerudo, so that's why she's going to Gerudo Village. So Hudson was really sad that his daughter was going to go away. So the quest is pretty much you helping Hudson and Madison have a good last day together.
Yeah, it's super fucking adorable.
Yeah. It was very good.
Him getting emotional at the end and like trying to stay cool, and Ronson's super supportive of both of them. Like it's all really well done, and it's very sweet. I loved it, and I'm excited to see where that quest goes, because that's the thing, is that like I don't see the exact sort of like continuing quest line that I was hoping to see. It's got to be Madison.
Did you think we were going to be building for Hudson a bunch?
Well, yeah, I figured we'd be expanding the town, or maybe we'd be building somewhere else. That was kind of my theory too, of like maybe Lookout Landing would expand and we'd be making Hyrule Castletown kind of. But I'm not sure.
I wasn't sure either, because I got there and he was just down. He was down at the excavation site, or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
The construction site, and he kept saying, "Oh yeah, if you pull the Zonai devices out, then the ground might cave in." So I just went around pulling them all out, expecting the ground to cave in and something to open up, but nothing happened.
That I didn't see.
Yeah, so nothing happened. There were a couple caves in there.
Did you talk to Ronson after all this?
No.
Okay.
No, so I need to talk to Ronson?
Yeah, so let's talk about it on the next episode. We'll circle back. So the next episode is the Southwest. It's Gerudo Town.
Yeah.
And we'll expand on our Tarry Town conversation, and you'll talk to Ronson, and you will start to do whatever else is going on in or around Tarry Town, we will say, because it's very, very satisfying. It's definitely what
there's more.
Hooked on right now. Yeah, it's not exactly the same, but it is something very cool.
Okay.
Something very cool.
So, aside from Tarry Town, today especially, I got distracted with Robbie. Have you gotten all the upgrades from Robbie yet?
No, I have got auto build, which eventually comes from the Robbie quest line. I have the sensor for sure, and I have the travel medallion, and I don't have I didn't take pictures yet of anybody, so I'm missing that one.
Oh, okay. So do you have you don't have the third travel medallion? Okay, so as soon as I got the camera, I just started taking pictures of everything.
Yeah, I think I have 4. I just forgot about it.
Absolutely everything. And then I got all 3 travel medallions, which is what I really wanted. I got the Hero's Path, which is so cool. So
fucking cool. That was DLC. So the Hero's Path was DLC in the first one, and it was really awesome. So was the travel medallion. Yeah, you're right. But the Hero's Path, especially in Breath of the Wild, was such a cool trip down memory lane, because it didn't come out until months after Breath of the Wild. So when I hopped back in to mess with the DLC to relive the path that I took was such a fucking awesome time. And even just doing that, like I'm streaming my entire playthrough, twitch.tv/Twitchin. But just seeing what we've done so far and the path that we traveled was a really cool recap for everybody that was there. Everyone got a kick out of that. So
I feel like I almost want to say I remember watching the Traveler's Path on my playthrough of Breath of the Wild, but I don't remember buying DLC. So I think I bought the DLC at some point.
You might have bought like a some sort of pack, or maybe did you play it on launch?
Yeah, I played it on launch. Or like right after. I think I had like a month or 2 after, because of the delay of getting the Switch, because they were hard to get right at the start.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no idea what the problem was, or what happened there. But I do appreciate how they took the DLC from the first game and just kind of bundled it in with this game. Really
I wonder what they'll do for DLC. That's a conversation for the end of this show.
I don't know. Well, is the freaking motorcycle not in this game?
I don't know. I haven't heard of it.
Okay, well, I haven't either. I guess there's really no point for a motorcycle, because in that you would have to build your own stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. But the motorcycle really was just kind of like a faster horse, all things considered.
Yeah.
It didn't have like very cool like mechanics, or couldn't get up hills or off road or anything like that.
I never tried the motorcycle. I never had
Me either.
it.
Yeah, I never got like a lot of the things that were required of the DLC was very much like challenge modes. Here, go do a no-hit run of this like trial, go do these bonus things, and I just never ended up getting around to it on any of my playthroughs.
Yeah.
Hey, gamer.
Oh, you know what I did today? I did a shrine that I think it was near. Um, I think it was the one near the stable near Tarry Town,
Hmm.
where you go in there and they're like the little like attack Roombas. You know what I'm talking about?
So sick, yeah. And it's one of the ones that we were talking about. You hadn't experienced one of these before.
Yeah,
It was one of the
I've experienced
trials where
two
you
of
go in
those
there
now.
naked.
Naked, yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely,
fucking
yeah.
cool.
I died the first time because some of those people hit so
I
hard.
died a couple times in that one. That was a really difficult one. The only reason that I ended up putting it together was because I really had to like send the Roombas in there and then work like the circumference.
Oh, dude, so I literally just sent them in there and just kind of hung back and like texted somebody for a couple minutes. Like
That's
I
a
was
pretty
just
good
on my
idea.
phone.
I
And
tried
it
that, but
worked.
they ended up finding me.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
I ended up going in there after they were all dead and realized literally all the way around the room there was more stuff to build. And it's like I could have
Yeah.
built all sorts of cool ones,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't. But yeah, that was a really cool shrine.
Super fun.
Um, I have not visited our house in Hateno Village. Is it still there?
Dude, it's still there. It's still there and it's fucked up.
No. Did something
Well,
fall on it? I swear to God, if a thing fell on it,
no, bro, that's not what I mean. You get there and everyone's like, I can't believe she's not coming home. It's Zelda's house. And I'm like, fuck you, bro. It's my house.
it's my house.
But it does confirm that maybe Link and Zelda are playing hide the salami on the regular.
Oh, they're smashing. Yeah. Which I have some theories about Zelda when we get towards the MSQ spoilers near the end.
Sure. Yeah.
But going on about shrines,
Mhm.
going into the depths, unless you have anything else about Tarry Town or Hateno
No,
Village.
no, I feel good. Hateno Village, I do have like a couple other things. I love the switch up of like what it looks like there. The girl Cece that's working on all the mushroom fashion stuff is such a cool vibe for Hateno, and seeing it all over the place, having this like iconic designer air quotes of making all this mushroom stuff. I really want to get a mushroom fucking outfit. I think it's so cool.
I did not explore Hateno Village completely yet, but I did run up towards the laboratory, and there was this dude sitting in a tree, and I talked to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I like sitting here because I can see the two windmills and my house where my darling wife is staying at all times." Immediately, I turn around and try to go smash his wife. I go right into his house and start talking to his wife. She wasn't having it.
I went into the well in Hateno Village, and I had the moment that a lot of people have had where, so it was the first well that I went into where there was just not a clear path out, like I couldn't climb a ladder to get out, and I was lost in this place for like 35 minutes, and I was like, there's no way out, and then it finally clicked. I just needed to fucking ascend, but it was like playthrough, it was like session 5 on day 2, you know what I mean? Like it was 2 in the morning, and I just like was not thinking about it right. But again, we've talked about it so much, but getting more fluent with these systems is creating one of the most satisfying gameplay fucking loops that I've ever had. It's so fucking fun.
Yes. That reminds me, and well, again, we'll talk about it later during the spoiler section, but there was a part where I could not solve a puzzle, so I just built a giant bridge, like a massive bridge. Like that's all you really have to do in this game is if you build a bridge big enough, you'll be all right.
I did a lot of cheesing in again probably towards the end. We're spoiling it in the fire
temple. Yes, yeah, that's where I was talking about. I cheesed it in there because I could not figure out where to go.
There was a couple where the paths were really hard. I actually had a good time in the fire temple. Let's save it, and let's move on to the depths.
The depths. So, fun
you
fact,
hadn't stepped foot down there.
I had.
Is your mind blown?
I love it down there. That's the coolest part.
I hate it down there, but I am blown away with how big. I cannot believe that there is a 1-for-1 Hyrule Underground that mimics the fucking one. I have the biggest tip for you. Do you realize the layout down there?
Yeah, all of the lights are shrines.
Yes, in the same exact location.
The same exact location, but their name is just backwards spelling of the shrine name.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so if you look at the shrine on the overworld and spell the name backwards, that's the name of the light in the underworld.
Very
I
cool.
noticed that and I was like, that's so cool. I know exactly where to go to get like the next light or something.
Yeah,
I
it does
can't
make
see it.
life easier, and vice versa. I bet there's some cool shrines that we'll find from finding lights down
Yes,
there.
from finding those lights, absolutely. It is massive. It's
Massive.
I think it's crazy how they marketed this entire game around the Sky Islands that
Hmm.
honestly, there's not that many of them.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
it's not that there I'm kind of let down with how few Sky Islands there are and how small
It's
they are.
really the starting area is the Sky
It
Islands,
is.
and then from
That's
there,
it.
it's a bunch of little offshoots. The most time
Yeah.
outside of the tutorial that we spend in the sky is ascending to the
Wind
Wind
Temple.
Temple, which was,
Yeah.
I think, still to date, ascending to the Wind Temple is
was very
probably the
cool.
highlight of the fucking game. Although, there's
Very
some
cool.
pretty cool stuff happening in the sky somewhere else, too. We'll get there
Okay.
in a future episode.
In a future episode, yes.
Did you?
You were far.
I don't
ahead of
remember
me in
where.
this
I don't
game.
remember where it was, but have you found in the sky the big ass fucking Death Star looking orb things? There's a couple of them.
I went into one of those and there was a shrine in there.
Yeah, so fucking
Yeah.
sick. The one that I
Yeah.
was in had a key to a shrine in there, and I had to launch the key out of the fucking
Oh.
Death Star, and I couldn't do it.
Okay.
I left it up there. Right in
I
with
like
the answer. I'll figure it
I
out.
like the ones. There's like islands that you can land on. They just have like a little piston that's always like. Doosh, and it
Oh,
will
the
just
ones that
send
have the
you-
wheel to rotate. I think there's like
Yeah.
one-ish in every village. It's almost like a cross-shaped island. They differ a
Yeah.
little bit, but it's usually like to propel you in the direction of something extra, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those as well.
I found a couple. They're like I don't know what they're called. I actually have my game pulled up here on the other screen, so I can reference things if I need to.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I found a couple items called Sage's Will. I have not found enough to use them yet.
I only
nor do I
found
know-
one Sage's Will, and I found it in a really obscure place under
the
a
sky.
sky island. Yeah,
Yes.
it was like I had to remove roots, and it was on the bottom level of something hidden.
Yeah, I found 3 of them.
Oh, I
but you
only
need
found
4
one.
of them. Yeah,
And it's
I
to
don't know,
enhance your
like, what they do.
powers?
I think it says the title or like the description says remnant of former sages resolve. If you gather 4 of them and offer them to a goddess statue, you can deepen your connection with the sages. So I wonder if it makes them like recharge faster.
That's my
or-
thought. Recharge faster, or hit harder, or something like that, like a bigger wind
Yeah.
burst from Tulin or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, which going on that, different currencies. I don't know what
Oh,
bubble
bro,
gems do.
I'm still fucked up about. I have no idea what bubble gems do. No idea. I
No idea what
barely
pose
understand. Okay, pose. I know pose are easy. I'll just give you like the location. Pose.
Sure.
There is a rock under where Robbie and Joshua hang out in Lookout Landing
Okay. Okay.
that you spend pose.
I'll
in,
go
in
there.
a fashion. It's like a vendor type of thing.
Okay.
I struggle with a lot of the Zonite charges. I don't know what to do with Zonite. Zonite I have so much of, and I have no fucking clue.
Oh, do you not have more battery?
No battery. 0 battery. I have just the 3.
Oh. Okay, so I have 6 now.
Well,
Like, you know, there's each battery has
Spill.
3 sections.
mhm.
So you take Zonite. There was a guy on the Sky Islands who you can pretty much use Zonite to buy let's see. What's it called? You can use Zonite to buy crystallized charge and pretty much
So
you
I
take it to
have
like a
crystallized charge, and I remember somebody somewhere saying something about 100 crystallized charge.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it was
So
on the tutorial Sky
it
Island.
was on the tutorial Sky Island where the last shrine on the very, very high part. Literally, if you fast travel there, he'll be directly in front of you. So you
So
take
how do you
100 crystallized
convert
charge.
Zonite
Oh,
to
you take
crystallized
it-
charge.
So you take it to the smelters, which the smelters are pretty much just shops.
Where?
So there's one on the Sky Islands that they offer very, very few. Do you remember the first time on the Sky Islands where you go into a dark cave as you're riding a like a cart, a mine cart?
Mm-hmm.
If you follow that dark cave through, the dude is there and he has like a little smelter with
Okay.
like lava. There's also places.
Yeah, I vaguely remember
underground.
this. Okay.
Yeah, so if you go to that's like the initial one that has very few charges. If you go directly under Hateno Village,
Yep.
there is the abandoned Hateno mine. in the depths.
Yeah, I was there.
Or
I think. Or no, I saw it.
yeah, yeah. So that mine, there's a vendor there where you can use Zonite to buy crystallized charges or whatever, and then you take those charges back to the Great Sky Isle and buy more battery with it.
Very dope.
So I took 300 there, expecting to get 3 full batteries. No, it just gives you 3 little chunks of battery.
Okay.
So I spent a bunch of time mining it and only got 1 extra battery.
That's pretty good though. I mean, that would double what I have for battery.
Yeah, it doubles. It doubles.
And I'm deeper than you,
yeah.
and I have 1 battery, and I've been doing fine, but I'm doing not great.
Yeah.
You know what I keep forgetting to do is like traversal. So my big thing has been like, I think I talked about it last time. My cheese has been that little mini Rivali's Gale, where I've been tossing down fire and then putting in those things. Did you use it?
Yeah, I have used that a couple times.
Pretty cool. The best thing to do is absolutely just use rockets on your shield. I need to remember to use that.
My problem is I only have 3 rockets in my inventory. I'm really low on rockets.
Have you been using the things?
Dude, every time I find a vending machine, I buy everything there.
I crank, bro. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then how do you farm crystallized charges? Just killing robots?
Just killing Zone Knight robots.
Yeah. Okay.
Go to the Sky Islands, kill everything you see.
Yeah. You bump into a Frox yet?
Yes, I bumped into one in the depths, and he kicked my butt. I was like trying to run away from him, and he kept sucking me in his mouth.
Yeah, dude, he do be sucking in your mouth, no doubt.
Yeah, I was not happy.
Really cool enemy. I liked like that big ass frog, and there's those little frogs too, which I don't know what they're called. They don't drop like unique gear; they just drop Zonite. Whereas when you kill a Frox, it drops like a Frox tail and shit. You know?
Oh no, I don't know.
You haven't bumped into the little frogs?
Maybe I have. It's hard to remember. There's so many different like.
Yeah, there's things. A enemy variety, baby. That's what everyone talked about in the first one. That was like, if you were gonna knock Breath of the Wild for something, it's like now it's a blue bokoblin instead of a red bokoblin. Wow. Yeah. In this, I have had no. It actually keeps on surprising me. Everywhere that I go, I'm bumping into new shit where I'm like, fuck. Hey, did you fight a construct?
No, not yet.
Oh, bro, they're my favorite fights in the game. I really like them.
I ran past one and he killed me in 1 hit when I was just trying to use his island to jump off.
Let me give you a tip. Do not find yourself on a sky island, or basically ever. Do not find yourself without a blank item to fuse with. Like, the best thing that you can do is always keep like a halfway decent blank item that's unfused, so that you're able to fuse on the run if something drops, because some enemies I've found are dropping things that you can't actually pick up. They need to be fused in the moment.
Interesting.
And that's one of the cooler things.
No.
Yeah.
Huh. I'll have to try that out.
The first time that happened to me was with, the construct. Basically, the construct drops this fucking crazy ass thing, and I was like, what is this? I was like trying to grab it and attach it to stuff, and it didn't make sense, and I was like, when I left it and I went to the second one and it happened again, and I was like, I should fuse it. By that time, my brain was fucking fuse pilled. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a while to grasp, like, okay, I should try to fuse. Okay, I should use Ascend. Okay, I should just ultra hand this into that and bring them together. And then I got it together. So,
also, if you want to know where else you can get Zonite charges from, this goes into our quest that we have not spoiled the name of yet. Master Koga of the Yiga clan.
Yeah, dude, the Yiga. So sick. I had no idea that was going to happen, and so cool, dude.
So again, all my memory from Breath of the Wild is very blurry because it's been 6 to 7 years. So I remember sneaking through their base, but I didn't remember much past that.
Mm-hmm.
So when he said, you like cast me down here, I guess we knocked him down a big hole, and that's how
we certainly fucking did. He has one of the cooler boss fights in the game. Like, very rarely do you have like a big showdown boss fight in Breath of the Wild with like a humanoid character, I guess. Like, there's a lot of like set piece type boss fights, and then there's fighting like the blights or whatever inside the divine beasts. And then I guess like Lionel's and stuff, but he had a very unique thing where you were doing like he would like pop into a bubble and have like a clone and just had his own like little side mechanics for what it was. I think like a side quest, but maybe was like a required side quest to complete one of the story beats.
It was
I'm not
required.
positive.
I want to say it was required.
A little off the beaten path and definitely unique, but it does end up with us throwing him down a fucking hole. Which is such a cool thing to throw back to. And it seems like he indicates at the end that like their base of operations is in the southwest, which is where he was, where he got dropped down the hole. Yeah, absolutely.
So I found so in the great abandoned central mine where you first fight him, there's also a vendor there, a forge construct, where you can buy the crystallized charges from using Zonite.
Oh. Okay, cool. I gotta get down there and explore a little more. It's a little creepy down there, dude. It's a little scary. It's very dark. I play a lot late at night. I don't like scary games or scary things. It's a little creepy to me.
Do you not have like the bright bulbs or whatever they're called?
I do. I be lighting shit up, but it's just a little tough. That was a fun puzzle though, like searching for those Minotaur statues and following a thing.
Dude,
do you have the gear down there? Have you found any of the light up gear?
No, I haven't found any of it yet.
The way that I found it was treasure maps from the constructs.
So I followed a treasure map, and it sent me to like the Skull Lake up in the top northeastern part of the map in Akala.
Oh yeah.
I literally went down that hole, and it was like a 9 sword, like a 9 damage sword.
Ooh, shitty.
It can't all be winners. Sucks. Yeah,
our highs would be nothing without the lows.
So I was not happy about that. But it I have another treasure map that I need to explore.
Yeah.
And then I remember, so the treasure maps that I've found are pretty much on chests that are hanging with like roots off of Sky Islands. I remember seeing one way back near Rito Village.
How have you been getting those?
You can just shoot the branch that it's hanging on with an
arrow. And then you jump all the way down to Hyrule?
Well, most of them land on Sky Islands.
I tried to follow. I've only seen one, and at first I tried. It was on one of those rotating. It was on like a rotating puzzle of some sort. And I was trying to rotate it so that it would fucking swing and then flip up, and that didn't work. So I ended up just shooting it and jumping down after it. And we watched it, and we watched it, and we watched it, and we flew all the way fucking down to Hyrule. And then right as it was about to land, it hit like the corner of a fucking cliff and just bing, shot off in some direction, and it was gone forever. I have no idea.
Oh,
I lost the fucking only chest I had a shot at.
I can't. So I just got the Traveler's Medallion today, so I'm very excited to actually use it.
I've had it for a couple days and I haven't used it because I just I don't know. There's too much happening for my brain. Yeah.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot in this game.
What did you think of the Koga boss fight? I adored this thing.
Not love it very much.
It was the most video game boss fight that's happened. It almost like
it wasn't awful.
No, it's like almost jumps the shark. You know what I mean? Like it's you know the expression jumping the shark?
No.
Jumping the shark is when it's typically used. It's a literal expression that is used for the show Happy Days. You know Happy Days?
Yeah.
The Fawns, the Fawns?
Yeah, the Fawns, bro, the Fawns.
There's an episode in like a late season, like season 7 or something, where things get so absurd that eventually the show ends with Fonzie water skiing over a jump over a actual shark. And it's jumping the shark derives from that, and it's when things go like a bridge too far and something overstays its welcome or flies too close to the sun or is like, okay, we're at this point now. It did feel, it was like a classic video game arena, like it just drops down invisible walls that weren't there so that you can fight in a big round circle against a video gamey ass boss that has the mechanics.
Like a mech or like
it's like the same mechanics that you would find in like a Donkey Kong 64 boss fight. You know what I mean? Like boss charges, you sidestep boss. Boss is stunned on wall, you go up behind boss, shoot boss. Like extremely trivial, extremely easy. My only thought is that we're probably gonna fight Koga like 6 times, and he's gonna have all sorts of absurd fucking vehicles with different like bullshit that's crashing into walls. I'm excited to see it. I liked it personally. I thought it was really cool.
I did enjoy it. I didn't hate it. I'll give you that. But it was like I get aggravated because I'm trying to like I stunned these bosses. Okay, let me run up to them and hit them. Oh, great. They got up before I could get all the way to them.
Yeah. There's
And it's like,
that's like
just stay
definitely part of it is like
longer.
Yeah, and you're kind of fighting the game to get there a little faster than you can, and then you kind of hop on something at a weird angle and you fall off, and Link doesn't mantle the way that you hoped that he would, and it can get frustrating for sure. But you know, it's the kind of thing that we let games off the hook for. Like, there are plenty of 10s that have those problems. Like Red Dead Redemption, the amount of times I fucking walked sideways into a door and couldn't get in, like that kind of bullshit. Like it happens. It's a video game in the long run.
That does annoy me whenever I'm fighting that. I had the same problem with the boss fight in Fire Temple. It's just like I would stun it and I have to run all the way to it, and then he's already up by the time I got there.
That was a fun boss fight. Cracking the code of that boss fight. That was really, really fun.
Cracking the code. Did it take you a while?
Yeah.
Oh, I assumed it didn't take me at all. I knew exactly what to do. I thought it was.
I died 3 or 4 times, and then...
it's gonna be like the last boss fight. Is you probably did it a completely different way than I did.
Yeah, I bet you're right. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Is there anything else underground?
Yeah, not really. Oh, you found auto build at the same place.
Oh yeah. Another thing that I haven't used yet.
I haven't used auto build either. Where you found auto build, you can buy the stuff for your battery.
Got it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna work on my.
But I do like the depths. I think it's weird that they marketed this game about the sky when there's obviously so much more of the depths than there are the sky.
Yeah, I think they nailed it though. I like the vibes of the sky. I think the sky is more important story wise. Like it I don't know. Yeah, I mean it definitely is.
The depths was just their like big surprise. I think.
It is.
I don't think it's more.
It's a cool surprise.
More or less important.
Yeah, you might be right.
It's very. I mean, so far I'm just 2 big bosses in. I've spent probably more time in the sky in the depths than the sky.
I think I'm still more time in the sky than the depths, but it's getting pretty close, and I think it'll end with depths way more than sky.
Absolutely, because there's so much to find down there.
There's 10% of the map is sky, 100% of the map is depths.
Yeah,
which is wild.
Yeah, crazy, absolutely insane. But yeah, I will say, I'm enjoying this game more this episode than I was last.
Good, cool. Me too, and probably because I had played a little bit more than you, to be quite honest. Like, it is definitely a game that is getting better and better the more that I play it, which is mind-blowing because I already liked it quite a bit. But
can I say, today, I got caught in a rabbit hole. I read one of Purra's diaries, and I had to track down the rest. So,
what do they say? I have no idea. You love Purra. I saw a TikTok, dude. I saw a TikTok. Let me just explain this TikTok. I hope it translates. But it's just like that fucking... You know, the music, like from the trailer, like the super saxophone-y shit. It's just that, and it's just like when you finally see Purra after the glow up, and it's just like a picture of Purra, and then it just hard cuts to Link fucking inserting himself into the rock face and just like pushing himself through. It's just such a quick cut. It's so fucking good.
It's so funny. So I found one of her diaries at the Hateno lab. And then pretty much each diary gives a hint towards the next, and there's 4 of them. So one of them's at Hateno lab. One of them is at the whatever lab it is up at the top corner of the map where the Yuka clan was hanging out.
Akala Ancient Lab or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, Akala Ancient Tech Lab. There was another part of her diary. One was in her room at Lookout Landing, and the last one was hidden under Impa's bed in Kakariko's village.
Kakariko, yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I have spent very little time in Kakariko. Have you done more there?
No, I have not. I want to investigate the ring ruins.
Same.
Specifically, I think this leads good into the final part here. Zelda is telling people to stay away from the ruins. Zelda. People keep seeing Zelda all over this world.
Yeah.
In Yunobo, or not in Yunobo, in Goron, Yunobo saw Zelda, and Zelda told him to put on a mask that made him evil.
Yep.
And then in Kakariko, all I know so far is Zelda came by and told people not to investigate the ring ruins.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody's saying Zelda is not acting like herself.
Yeah, definitely.
And if we go to Yunobo of Goron Village, when we show up at Goron City, not Goron Village, Yunobo has everyone eating marbled rock roast,
which is just a piece of goma.
A piece of goma, which is a boss that we fight later on. Yeah. Which has them all in a trance, like they're all
cracked out.
Yeah. And Yunobo is wearing like a what do you call it? It's like a luchador mask.
Yeah.
I don't know what a conquistador is, but
conquistador is like a Spanish conqueror, cowboy, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the like Mexican wrestling masks.
Correct, luchador. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was evil. What's going on there? Tell me your thoughts on this.
Don't know exactly. So my impulse is that it is somebody impersonating Zelda to get people to do bad shit. You know what I mean? Like this is obviously not a cognizant Zelda who is trying to lead people to do bad things. You know what I mean? Our Zelda is pure of heart, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't know the witchcraft and wizardry behind it. And I don't really have like a running theory either. It's really tough. Which tiers have you found so far? Have you only found tiers that are in the area that we're speaking of?
Well, technically I know where they're at. I've just not gone to them yet. I have found tier number 8, Birth of the Demon King.
Okay, yes. You find that in like the very north of the map somewhere, correct?
Yeah, it's over near Rito Village where
let's talk about that, dude, because that's well within our it's well within our spoiler geography. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just want to talk about ones that we have both found and ones that we found in the north. So I'm hoping that you remember what the other one is. I don't remember. But that fucking cutscene is so sick.
When Ganondorf takes the secret stone and sticks it in his forehead.
In his fucking forehead, and you get that scene he fucking Super Saiyans out, and he gets the dreads, bro. Yeah. So sick. And that's like super Demise looking. Have you ever seen Demise? Do you know who this is?
No.
So Demise is like the bad guy from Skyward Sword, which obviously has like
yes.
a bunch of connections. He kind of has like fire hair, but he's like more, it looks a lot like Ganondorf, only he's fucking beefcaked out. Like he looks somewhere between, when Ganondorf transforms, he looks like somewhere between what we usually picture Ganondorf as and Demise. And that there was like people theorizing that maybe that was Demise or something, and there might be something to that, but I don't know if that's the case, especially with all the like the sky stuff going on. I'm not sure how it'll all relate, but what a fucking scene, dude. What a scene.
Great scene.
I loved it. It was probably the coolest I've ever seen a Zelda scene, like as far as like scene direction goes. Just calling fucking Rauru foolish, dude. Like,
because he killed Raru's wife right then, right? And took her stone.
Yeah, dude. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. And then they TP. They TP out.
Yeah, they teleport out. Rauru puts up a shield to protect them, and then Zelda uses a Sheikah slate to teleport them out.
So sick.
Yeah. Or I guess it's a Purapad. I don't know what.
I don't know what the deal is if it's a Purapad or a Sheikah slate now.
They're the same thing.
I wonder if we'll get any elaboration on that.
Yeah, I hope so, because I don't understand the differentiation. And then we go, the other one I got was a Master Sword in Time. It was tier 11. It's the one that is between the tower and Goron City. This is where you see Zelda's perspective of finding the Master Sword in the past.
Yes.
So you see, you see her at the Temple of Time, and she sees something glowing and she goes and
Mhm.
takes the sword and grabs it out of time.
And that's where you get the voice line, Link, you need to find me, or whatever.
Link, yes, Link, come find me,
Yeah,
or
that
something
you get
like
from the
that.
trailer. So fucking good, dude. Chills just saying that
Yeah.
out loud. I don't know why it hits for me, but it does. These little bit piecemealing of these memories versus the memories in Breath of the Wild are fucking. It's blowing them out of
Much
the
better.
water, dude.
And the reason I haven't gone and gotten more memories is because they're so good. I kind of want to like
I'm savoring
savor them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm finding them
have
as I go.
marked on the map where I've seen them as I'm flying around getting the towers. I just
Yep.
put a pin on the map so
Sure.
I know where to go back to. I will likely. I meant to go get all the memories up in the north east
Yeah.
today. And I kind of ran out of time.
You
and
stay
forgot.
on memories. Take notes as you watch them and which ones you find, and we'll follow your journey because I think I'm finding them. I have all the notes. I have all of the tiers that are in the northern half of the map, basically excluding that one in the east, and then all of the ones in the west, including the southwest, which is only I think 4 or 5 total.
Well, I know there are
so
11. There are 11 geoglyphs.
Geoglyphs, and then 14 total memories, and we had 1 to start with, so there are 2 additional.
We had 1 to start with, so 2 probably will come through the story somewhere.
Yeah, I bet it'll be like ending cutscene will be a memory or something like that.
Yeah. And then when we go to Goron City, we end up fighting Yunobo pretty quickly to break
Yeah, that
the
was
mask.
so funny, dude. That we actually had to fight Yunobo, and he had video gamey ass shit too, where it was just like if you stun him, you just have to 3-hit him. It's not like do damage and wear out your gear and shit like that. It was a pretty cool scripted fight, though. I liked it. I liked that.
Yeah, it was good.
The Goron City had like more interesting stuff going on from that thing. Like you arguably fight like 3 weird bosses over your course of the stay up there in the northeast, which is pretty rad.
Yeah, my favorite boss fight of the game is after you and Yunobo ascend the mountain looking for Zelda.
We gotta talk about ascending the mountain. That shit was so cool, though.
Did you ride the carriage all the way around?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
And then
starting
to ride the carriage like up, and I had some real crazy fuckery going on with like the stuff that I was building, and then using Yunobo's skill to like bonk shit and open passageways, and then fighting enemies. There was the one point, dude, where they set up like a Mad Max style fucking blockade. Was so sick, and then you had to get there and fight your way out of it. Was such a fucking good touch. I loved that.
One thing that I really appreciate is when you kill someone with his ability and you're not able to retrieve the loot, it auto loots it.
It does, yeah, so nice. I wish there was a little bit more auto looting too, because I fucking be sniping people out of the air all the time, and I wish that kind of stuff. I wish it would Ratchet and Clank bolt its way back up to me. You know, Ratchet's good with that shit. Goes off the edge of yours.
I agree. That would be very handy if there was like a Sheikah Slate or Purapad upgrade.
Yeah. But I'm assuming you were alluding towards the top of the mountain fight where we're airborne.
Yeah, what's his name? I can't remember. I can never remember
Yunobo?
these names. No. The monster that we fight at the top of the mountain.
Oh, Moragia.
Moragia. Whatever. However you pronounce it.
Morgina.
My favorite part of this game so far has been the flying machines. I love building like elaborate flying machines and soaring over the landscape. So this one, they pretty much just give you a flying machine.
The dopest flying machine.
The best flying machine with like infinite
so
battery.
maneuverable, so fucking fun.
It's so good.
It lets you live that fantasy for a little while, and you're using Yunobo's fucking basically like rocket attack, homing attack to do the whole thing.
And you just one hit all of these.
Pretty
guys.
trivial, trivial again, but super fun and just like a fun set piece to actually take part in.
Absolutely.
It was really impressive because there is nothing like that in the wind thing. Like the wind thing was much more straightforward. Like here is like a challenging platforming combat thing to progress through, very linear if we're being quite honest, whereas this was a little bit more free form but kind of had weirder bumps in the road of like stuff to do leading up to that with like the Yunobo boss, the ascension.
It felt more different than Breath of the Wild to me.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Rito Village, the Wind Temple felt very Breath of the Wild, like, oh, I'm fighting a flying thing in the sky or whatever. You know, it felt very much like the Divine Beast of Rito Village last time, where it's in the sky. You gotta go up there, open some gates, and then fight a boss. This felt very different, very fresh, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So then after you kill Moragia, you dive straight into the middle of Death Mountain.
Yeah. And you end
And
up
you go to the
in the depths, which was such a surprising thing to me. Like the fact that there is like actually, I don't know, the depths have seemed, all things considered, the depths are less complex and less dense than Hyrule, you know? So this was the first time for me. I did this before I even did the Yiga stuff.
Okay.
This was the first time of me seeing anything but gloom and
stuff as well.
Yeah, this is my first time seeing anything but gloom and fucking light pods and enemies to fight. Yeah. So I was like blown away that there was so much to traverse. Like we get down there and the road there is giving you the option to build some fucking machines to traverse like the area, and really just felt like a sequence that you might find in like Hyrule proper, more so than the depths. So really enjoyed that. And then obviously, dude, coming up on the Fire Temple and having it present itself as the Fire Temple got me fucking rock hard. I was so in. Whatever, bro.
Okay.
It's Goron City.
Yeah.
Did you like it here?
Goron, yeah, I did. I this is where I just built a massive bridge because I couldn't figure out how to get from the second story to the third story. So I just went to one of the areas where there's a hydrant spilling out on lava, making like the little rock pads.
Yep.
I put like 30 of those together and just made a giant bridge up to the top.
No problems until I was trying to get from like the third to the fourth, and there was one thing where they wanted me to, like, I could clearly see that there was like a switcher ahead of me that was being blocked by a Yunobo needed to like destroy a rock so that I would have access to the switcher, but I just didn't have the range to do it, and I could not for the life of me figure out how to fucking get there and explode this thing. So I ended up cheesing and doing my fly into the air thing, grinded a fucking rail to get there, and then just broke it from the backside and then grinded my way back and then hopped in the cart and got to my destination. But what my decision was for this thing too is like, first off, this thing is way more daunting than the Wind Temple. Like, as far as like the temple itself goes, the Wind Temple had a very nice like flow to it. Like, you got there and you could kind of absorb the whole thing when you looked at the map and when you like landing on like the ship's deck. Whereas the Fire Temple, when you start scrolling up and down and you're looking at all of these fucking cart paths and ways that you can switch things, I was like, fuck me. And the way that I attacked the Wind Temple, where I think it was to my detriment, was I was like, there's 5 things, let's go find this thing, and I would go in the direction of this thing, you know?
Oh no.
Whereas with the Fire Temple, what I did, I was like, let's approach this like differently than we did the last one. Let's just kind of like go with the flow of where this map wants to like push us and see how many of these switches we naturally find, which was really nice for me. It led to me finding the first 3 very quickly, and then
I went floor by floor. So
that's good.
I just looked at which one is on the first floor. Okay, there it is. Which one's on the second floor? Okay, there it is. And then
how long did it take you to figure out the fucking first floor one? Because the one that was on the first floor, on the right behind the gate that you can see really easily, was the last one I ended up getting.
Well, that was the last one I ended up getting as well, but I think that was planned because you have to jump all the way down from the top. I just saw on the map where there were holes in the floor, so I figured we had to dive.
Same. But we spent a lot of time on the 5th floor trying to figure out our way in. We didn't realize that there was like a rock to break in the middle of the 4th floor. It was definitely a pain point for me. That one took me like a good 20 minutes to crack the code of. But basically, I got the first 3 very quickly, and then the 4th one was a bit of a pain. I did, again, a little bit of cheesing where I was like, I'm just on the wrong side of the map on the 4th floor right now. Like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? And I just kind of like pushed myself to the right end of the map and was able to crack the code. But some cool stuff going on in here too.
Yeah, so when we open the gate, we see, so pretty much we're chasing Zelda down this entire way. We see Zelda in the distance and she's kind of walking the other way. And we see her kind of morph into this rock ball on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then when we get in there,
into it.
Yeah, we use Yunobo to destroy it, and then it spawns the final boss of the Fire Temple. And
so you don't care about this. For me, this was probably my biggest, like, let's fucking go moment. Do you know who Goma is?
No.
So, Goma is one of, like, I would say probably the most iconic Zelda bosses. Goma
okay, cool.
is like a type of type of enemy that you fight in the original Legend of Zelda on NES.
He was a crab.
It's basically a crab. Crab / spider sometimes, depending on what Goma looks like in that. But then there's like a special Goma that you fight as a boss in that original Legend of Zelda. It pops up in like the Oracle games and Link's Awakening. It's there. It's definitely there in Ocarina of Time for sure. Most iconic probably boss in Ocarina of Time. Arguably just because it's the first boss that you find. It has like that moment. Have you ever seen Ocarina of Time played?
No.
You go inside the Great Deku Tree is the first fucking...
Oh, I see it. I see it now.
So it's
I'm
the first
up pictures
thing.
of it right now.
You go into the Great Deku Tree, and that's your first dungeon inside there, and you finally get to the boss chamber, and you can run around the whole boss chamber, and there's nothing there, and you have no idea what the fuck is happening, and you but just hear like weird sounds, and the way you trigger the boss fight is you have to go into first person mode and look around, and when you look up into the fucking sky, you see Goma and its big ass eyeball staring at you, and it then drops from the ceiling fucking down, and it's you know, like,
dude,
game time.
Freaking Twilight Princess Goma
Yes.
is just straight up spider. I hate it.
Yeah, nightmarish. But
Right.
yeah, Goma is a stay true fucking Zelda fan's paradise. So seeing Goma pop up is classic.
Arachnid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay.
Really
That's
dope
cool.
to see Goma come through in any way. Marbled Goma, we'll take it. So tell me about how you went about this boss fight.
I used Yunobo's charge ability to break the legs, which stunned it. When it was on the ground, you break 2 legs and it stuns. You go smack the eyeball. And then when it's on the ceiling, you just break 1 leg, it stuns it, go smack the eyeball. And that's pretty much it.
I was having much more trouble than that, and I was doing a little bit of stunning for sure, but he was doing some projectile nonsense at me too, and having his eyeball be like hidden. So what I was doing was I was waiting for him. He would shoot out these rocks at you, like 4 or 5 rocks at a time.
Yeah, the explosive ones.
And so I would take the bombs and rewind them. Yeah, at Goma, which would then expose the eye. I would shoot the eye and it would stun him too. And then eventually I got to the point of, all right, let's fucking flex. I would send the bomb in reverse, but I would get on the bomb. And before the bomb made impact, I'd jump up and paraglide while the bomb exploded. So he'd fucking hit the ground. I'd land on top of him and hack and slash on his fucking eye. Yeah, but this is why definitely the smarter thing is just break his fucking legs and smack him.
Yeah.
But it took me 5 or 6 tries to do, all said and done. But I had a real good time doing it, and I looked like a boss at the end.
I feel like both boss fights so far, I took the probably easier intended route.
Yeah,
and you took
for sure. I'm fucking, ridiculous man.
Hey, I mean, it's good though, I guess.
Yeah. Fun boss fight. Better boss fight. Better boss fight than the first.
I think so. None of these boss fights have really wowed me. I think it's hard because a good boss fight to me is a Dark Souls boss fight. So we're not going to get that here. I get that. No. I'm not mad because it's not that good, but it is just kind of hard to impress me with a boss fight.
Yeah, I think with Zelda bosses, their bosses are more puzzles than they are boss fights, you know?
Yeah. And that's my problem is I don't always love puzzles.
Yeah, I get that.
But the reason I like this game so much more than Breath of the Wild is I don't have to solve the puzzle the way they want me to in this game. I can solve it however I want to.
It's so satisfying.
In Breath of the Wild, I was stuck behind the stupid freezing ice blocks to jump across a lake. It's like, I hate that. That's not fun to me. This game is like leagues ahead of Breath of the Wild to me. Absolutely. I will never go back and play Breath of the Wild.
I think I will eventually, just for what it did as far as like changing the game for open worlds. But this is the superior title, it seems, in a vast many ways.
The way people have talked about Breath of the Wild for the past 6-7 years, I would understand it a lot more if this game was Breath of the Wild.
But I think that you need Breath of the Wild for this game to exist. Like the reverence that you have for that world and these characters and stuff. I think enhances it.
I don't deny that at all.
I think if anything, if we're talking about right, and that's what I think separates it. Like when it comes to greatest video game of all time, I think that there's a conversation obviously to be had with Breath of the Wild there for sure. But despite many of the games that might be considered the greatest game of all time, it's a very different conversation when you talk about the greatest sequel of all time and what it entails. Is it just the best game that happens to be a sequel, like Mass Effect 2 or something like that? Or is it something that begs the question of like, why did we get a sequel in the first place? What did it do to iterate on the last game? How does it connect to that first game, and how closely tied to the DNA of the first game is the second game. I think Tears of the Kingdom is going to top a list like that has some qualifications. I think the things that they're doing in this game is so fucking cool. We talked about it a lot in the first episode, how, you know, I'm more engaged with re-exploring this world than I would be exploring any other brand new worlds.
I have to say, like, just here in the past year, all like sequels, not all, but you know, all the ones I can think of, Jedi Survivor, God of War Ragnarok, they've all iterated, I would say, like, perfectly on what came before, right? This game too.
I
Like,
guess so, but like when you compare, spoiler free for God of War Ragnarok if that's not your bag, but when you think of like re-exploring the world of God of War Ragnarok, where you do retread ground from the first game,
very lightly,
versus this one, very lightly indeed, but the ways that it does that is like it digs into the relationships a lot and how those have changed and progressed over time, but the actual world transformation that you get from Tears of the Kingdom, coming from Breath of the Wild,
I think it's just different game design, so this can flex the world design better.
That's what it really boils down to. This one seems like the more total package for me.
I just don't know. Like, I couldn't say this is a better sequel to Breath of the Wild than Jedi Survivor is to Jedi Fallen Order, because I feel like each of them. Oh my god,
it's not even fucking close, dude. It's not even close.
I think it's very close in like the steps of the previous one.
That take's gonna age like milk.
That's okay, but I you know, everybody knows, if anybody listens to this, they know I'm not the biggest fan of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, for sure.
Far bigger a fan of this game.
We'll talk about this in game list for sure. Is this gonna be? It's gonna be on your list. It's gonna be probably top 5. Is it gonna rank higher than? Is it number 1 for you?
No.
Yeah. So for me, it's like no question number 1 already. It would have to really fuck up for it not to be. And some of that is like I still need to roll credits and make sure, because it's my hopes that they stick the landing and stuff like that, but my assumption that they will. What the question is being like begged for me is like there was a world where this God of War Ragnarok and Elden Ring all shipped in the same year. Yeah, and even this year, I mean, listen, I'm poo-pooing Jedi Survivor, but that is a strong game. Hogwarts Legacy, strong game. Starfield likely coming out this year. Spider-Man 2 likely coming out this year. 2023 is looking like an all-time year for video games. Great time to have a podcast about our game of the year 1 month at a time. I'll tell you that. We're gonna have fascinating fucking conversations for what is turning out to be like 2013 was another like landmark year for video games that I can think of. 2009 was really a hot ticket, maybe 07. But there are some other ones too, but like 2013 is looking really, really fucking strong. But if I just try to pull it back 1 year, and I'm talking about like a top 3 between this, Ragnarok, and Elden Ring, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, that is a tough conversation to have. Really good shit. Sorry for bringing us so far off topic.
No, I mean, that's what the point of this is.
There's one thing that I want to talk about from the Fire Temple era real quick too.
Okay, give it to me.
Before we go off of it,
I've got a couple things I've got to mention.
Oh, okay, you go. Mine's towards the end. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Did you find what's her name? Melania, the horse god? It's the one that comes out of like the giant flower and asks for food to upgrade your horses.
No.
You didn't find that?
No. Was it in the Fire Temple?
No. It was up in the top northeast.
No, I did find a cherry blossom tree where.
Oh, really?
A horse god presented itself. I think it was a horse god. Is it a big blue fucking majestic looking beast thing?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I was up there and there's this fucking cherry blossom tree and there's this Gerudo woman, Avai, sitting there, and she's like, I heard that the beast likes fruit or whatever, and there's kind of one of those like offering trays. I just dropped a fucking fruit. I did find that,
but I didn't know what to do with it.
So I dropped the fruit there, and it comes out, and the big blue beast is like, check out all these little landmarks. And I'm pretty sure, did you see the landmarks? All the blue?
No, I didn't. I didn't get.
So I looked out into the distance, and there's all sorts of like, almost like when you ping something, you know, you'll see like the big beam shooting up into the sky when you look.
Yeah.
in the overworld, there's now blue beams all over the place. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it's just like all the points of interest for that area. So it was like pointing me towards like caves and chests, and like it was probably 8 or 9 points. And at first I was like, what do I have to go to all of these? And then I realized it was just kind of pointing me in the right direction on some cool shit. So that was really nice. Where exactly was this horse god?
You know where the ancient tech lab is in Akala?
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lake right to the left of the Akala ancient tech lab. Just jump down there and you'll see it. It's
cool.
It's the name. It's Malanya Spring, the horse god, and you can go there and offer her or him or whatever food, cooked food. You can offer them like meals and upgrade your horse's like towing ability, speed, endurance.
Nice.
All sorts of things up there.
Huh. All right.
Yeah.
I'll check that out for sure. What else you got? Mine was still related to the... Are you done with Fire Temple stuff? I got one more.
Yeah, I'm done with Fire Temple.
So, obviously, Yunobo is the Fire Sage, but he talks to his unnamed ancestor as well.
Yes.
But this guy...
I forgot. Yeah. Duh. Yeah, for sure.
This guy was really interesting to me. So, again, lost on you because you didn't play Ocarina of Time, and Ocarina of Time is my Zelda bread and butter. But this guy had the fucking vibes of Darunia from Ocarina of Time in a very big way. I brought a picture of Darunia. It is up on the screen right now if you are a listener. He basically looked like an old man version of the King of Gorons from Ocarina of Time. Okay. Where he had like, it's a very like iconic like beard hair type thing. It almost looks like a starfish of fucking hair. It's like golden in Ocarina of Time, but it's very white, like an older version of him in what's it called? In Ocarina. Or I'm sorry, in Tears of the Kingdom. So really interesting. Again, unnamed, but I'm wondering if there's going to be a connection. Like, will this end up being Darunia from Ocarina of Time? Are they going to go so far as to connect things quite literally? Or is it another like, oh, well, Raru's the Sage of whatever from Sage of Wind from Ocarina, but now he's a bird goat man with the same name and it just happens to be there. It's Zelda likes to do that, inspired by type of thing with their design, like Goma popping up multiple times and stuff like that. But I just thought it was a really nice touch, and Darunia is a fucking absolute icon from Ocarina as well. Really cool shit.
Speaking of that, I'm glad I don't know how I skipped over this. Just the cutscene of Yunobo and his ancestors. It was more of the... It's almost like Zelda's playing like Nick Fury in the past and assembling the Avengers to try to line up everything so the sages...
100%. Well, she is a sage.
She's a sage of time.
She's the sage of time. So we have it probably figured out here, right? Like it's going to be... It is the Tulin's ancestor, right? Is definitely a sage of time. And then there is Yunobo's ancestor, who looks like Darunia.
Sage of Wind.
Sage of Wind, sorry. And then Sage of Fire is Yunobo's. And there's probably going to be like a Sage of like Lightning and a Sage of Water or something like that. So that'll put us at 5, including Zelda being the Sage of Time. Who's 6?
I think we are.
We, or maybe Ganondorf, or maybe Raru. Or I don't know.
I think we're going to take Raru's place. We're going to find his tier. Or his stone.
Oh, I like that.
I think so.
Then my theory is we're going to fucking travel back in time and have all of these people fight with us because they already have like the shadow of them rolling with us together, because now you're rolling around the map and you have both Yunobo and Tulin chilling with you.
I thought we were going to have to choose. I'm glad
Me too, dude. Me too. So the fact that that's the case is my guess is that by the end of like getting all 4 of these things together, you're rolling around with 4 little shadow people. Adding Zelda as the 5th person, and then instead of having them being the shadow models, just putting their actual models there for a final battle where you're using everybody's skill would be some incredibly dope shit. Where you're like, I was about to spoil another unrelated game very, very hard, and I'm glad I stopped myself.
What game?
I can't say the game now because of how I alluded to the spoiler. We'll talk about it after.
Do I know the game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Have I played the game?
Spoilers for one of the biggest games last year that we've already talked about today. Tune out, skip ahead 30 seconds if so. If you don't want to hear it. God of War Ragnarok, where at the end you kind of like bring everybody together and you have this big like set up like Avengers moment. Yeah, we're gonna have that in Zelda.
Gotcha.
Is where I think we're going. Is like Zelda's gonna be on the squad, maybe Ghost of Raru on the squad. Definitely the actual embodiment of our sages on the squad instead of their shadow form. I think it's gotta happen. I think it's gotta happen.
Yes.
And I think that'll be like the big difference is like I'm not sure how to beat this game. It's not as straightforward as the last one, but my guess is that you could probably do it without any of them, but if you have them, it creates that dope moment.
Yeah.
Spoilers over.
I heard somebody beat the game in 94 minutes, so I'm going to assume they didn't do all of this.
Yeah, I can assume so. I wonder, it's probably just rush the castle again, right?
I have to assume so, yeah.
Yeah.
Jump down in the hole under the castle? I don't know.
Yeah, I bet you're right. Return back to that thing where we found Ganondorf would be probably a good call.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
But yeah, good game, right?
Fucking good game, dude.
It's really good. I'm having a hard time balancing this game and all the other games that I'm trying to finish up right now. I'm trying to finish the Fortnite Star Wars event, trying to finish the Destiny Guardian games. There's a lot going on right now. I can't wait till
and it's
I'm glad have a clean slate.
I'm glad that for once other game companies were just like, fuck it, we're not touching Zelda week. Like they did give us a break for the stuff that's actually out right now, because let me tell you, everybody was like, well, we're not launching in the middle of May with fucking Zelda, and everybody pushed their shit to fucking June. So June is just stacked, dude.
Lot.
I mean, in the first week it's Diablo and Street Fighter. The week after is or 2 weeks after it's Final Fantasy. Like it is ridiculous.
Okay, so I got 2 weeks to enjoy Diablo before Final Fantasy.
Yeah, you sold on Diablo?
Yeah. I'm sold. Yeah, that beta sold me.
Really
I killed
sick,
the world boss, and I got the special mount for the exclusive mount for the main game.
Dope as fuck. I slacked on that. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm excited to hop into Diablo. We'll have to hang out on there.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that's it for episode 2 of Tears of the Kingdom spoiler chat.
Yeah, for sure. Comprehensive. I feel good about that chat.
I think so. Just to give you a chance, do you have any last thoughts for this episode?
No, I feel good. I'm a little mushy brained. I'm still streaming everything. So if you want to check out like everything that I'm doing in my in the moment fucking thoughts, you have the opportunity. I'm now 35 hours into streaming it over the course of 10 parts. They're all up on my YouTube page. You can just go to jaketwitchin.com and you'll find it somewhere. You're a smart listener. I'm assure you of that. But I'm losing out on the ability to, take notes and be as specific as I'd like to be about like certain shrines or certain moments or cool weapons that I found or fusions that were cool or anything like that. But it's all immortalized. It's out there if you care to find it yourself. I think these abbreviated conversations are really good. What about you?
I don't have anything else really. I thankfully don't have as much stuff to sort through in my brain as you do. I'm trying to determine right now how many hours in I am, because it doesn't say on the save file.
No, it doesn't.
That annoys me.
Yeah.
It doesn't say. It just says I first played it 5 days ago.
Right. Yeah.
How dumb is that?
Eventually, after some time, it'll populate some sort of.
Yeah.
But
but that's
reminder, I guess, for next time we're talking about everything in the southwest.
Southwest. So Gerudo. Yeah. Gerudo? Is it Gerudo or Gerudo?
It is concretely Gerudo, which is against everything I've been saying for a very, very long time, so I'm trying to break it myself. But it
happens.
There is a point where somebody does voice the word Gerudo. So in addition to that, everything from basically, the southwestern quadrant of the map from Lookout Landing, everything left and down from there.
Oh God, why can't I think of it? The Great Plateau up for grabs.
Ooh. Yeah, we should go back there. Let's include the Great Plateau.
I have not gone there yet, and
Me either.
Want to, because I found hints that it may be infested with the Yiga clan.
Oh, interesting. It would make sense. Actually, I had a theory a while back that, like, just geographically, it would make sense that that's the place that was the starting area for the last one. But it would now, in Hyrule, be one of the most difficult places to access outside of the fact that we could fucking fly. So it could be a nice endgame area. Like, I could picture, like, final boss fight happening at, like, the Temple of Time, like Hyrule's Temple of Time.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I bet there's some cool story beats that transpire.
There was a map in the Akala Ancient Tech Lab where
Mhm.
the Yiga clan was, and it had their bases circled on the map, so you can kind of
Sick.
determine where they were. And one of them was on the Great Plateau. So
We'll check it
yeah,
out.
well, let's include that in the next one. We appreciate you guys for watching or listening. If you enjoyed, you know what to do.
Listening.
Jake is at Jake Twitchin everywhere. I am at Kaulin _ everywhere. Go click some buttons, help us out. Again, we appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time.
Yes, sir.